Hey, it's That Car Show back with Lyn Woodward. This is the part of the show where we actually start talking about cars. If you haven't listened to part one, make sure you go back and listen to that. Otherwise, enjoy. It's Lyn Woodward, and it's That Car Show.
The other thing that I really enjoyed was the Subaru Trailseeker.
Yes.
I've got that on my list here to talk about because I was, like you, very impressed, other than the steering wheel. But tell us about your...
And we just say... Never in my life did I think I would be comparing or speaking about a 0 to 60 time of a Subaru being faster than a 0 to 60 time of a Porsche.
Yeah, yeah.
The
And yet
Porsche
here we are.
Macan, and yet here we are. The Porsche Macan base model is slower off the line than a Subaru Trailseeker.
I mean, there's your
What
soundbite.
about them apples, right?
And it's
Well, and
what,
the
4 times the
Trailseeker-
price? Like
Yeah.
3 times the price?
Yeah.
And the trail seekers are so good all around. I mean, I off-roaded it. They
Yeah.
had one at Mudfest. It did fantastically. You know, as you expect, like
Well, you
we've all
know, they're
off-roaded other
calling it
Subarus.
in Europe, they call it the Outback EV.
Wow, come on. That's
Because that's what
and
it is.
That's what it is. And in fact, it
It's
looks kind of
totally
like the
that.
old Outback and, you know, in profile, right?
I'm telling you, that's what it is. And when you
Yep.
see them side by side, you're kind of like, oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's basically the wagon, but it's an EV
Yep.
wagon.
Yep. If you don't mind, like, you know, clashing plastic finishes or whatever, that is a wonderful car. I did struggle a little bit with that Squircle or whatever. I just felt a little silly with that.
I do think that that's something that a driver will get used to.
Yeah, totally.
For better or for worse. I will say that I think the partnership between Toyota and Subaru when it comes to the electrified vehicles has probably been one of the most successful that I would to date. I think Subaru oddly enough might even be taking a little bit of an edge from Toyota to me with the way that they're rolling those things out. I think the Getaway is going to be a really interesting vehicle too.
Yep.
Even more impressive than the Highlander EV. It's got just a monstrous power number, and but you can also get it as a 2-wheel drive vehicle. You can't do that with the Highlander. And it's funny because I had lunch with them not long ago, and I don't know if this was off the record or not, but I think they all but kind of admitted, that, that maybe we should have done something different. Breaking news. That it may be that's available at some point, but the styling on the Getaway was really intriguing to me, and I can't wait to drive that vehicle. So I think they're making a lot of really like terrific choices.
Yep. In Lyn, with the EVs, you don't have to worry about the one thing that's always prevented me from buying a Subaru, and that's the CVT. I'm not buying a CVT. I'm just not.
You can't do it.
I know it's not 2000 and it's not Nissan or whatever, but you know, where those would fail after 40,000.
So right now I'm driving the Outback Wilderness as a long-term vehicle. And I was in the same camp as you. I still don't know if I could buy one, but I will say this. I don't hear it in the way that I thought I would hear it all the time. Subaru have refined it so much, and I'm really curious to drive it on the WRX. That's where I really would like to spend some time with it. But they're not interested in giving anybody a WRX with a CVT because they have an 80% take rate on the manual transmission. Why would they even care?
Which is a beautiful thing to hear.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. There's a whole crew of guys out right now in England who are driving the snot out of the WRX all over the place before Festival of Speed, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But, I do think that the CVT has come a long way. And while it may not be the right transmission for you or for another enthusiast, I will say this. I think most customers, most car buyers, they don't notice. They don't care.
They don't care.
And they don't know the difference. They've got their music on. If there is some noise, some weird, they're putting kind of paddle shifters on everything, which I'm like, this is so performative and like theatrical. But if that makes them feel better about like, oh, I need a little bit of a boost and I can kind of boogie on up the highway, you know, then that's fine. But they've come a long way. So I'm not going to give them as much crap as I used to.
True. And they're wonderful cars. I think, Lindsay, you and I both had one of those for at least a week. And
we had the Forester Wilderness.
Forester, that's right. But had at least I had the Outback as well and enjoyed them both. I mean, I could see living with it, you know, but I like that Trailseeker even better.
That's one of those cars to me, though, that it doesn't check off all the boxes, because that one I wouldn't put on a lovely dress and pop to a fancy party or a restaurant.
Yeah.
I don't want to be driving around in a hiking boot all the time.
It's a good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it feels like, which is why I think the Getaway is so intriguing, is because that looks sexy.
Right.
That looks good. And,
you know,
I saw it in this like purple paint that I was like, what is that color? It's fabulous.
You're like, yes. Well, and you know what I think was funny, that Tori and I kept commenting when we had the Forester, and I think a lot of it is the public perception. Like you said, it's people think of them as like hiking cars, camping cars, outdoorsy things. The interior on it was so lovely and impressive and felt very high end, but that's not what people see when you're pulling up to the gala in your gown. And they're like, oh, this is an interesting contrast.
Yeah.
Which is why I would say, and I haven't confirmed this with them, but the redesign of the Outback, I'm betting that that's why they made such a departure, because if you're not buying the Wilderness Edition and you're just buying the regular edition, it's much more refined. It looks less rough and tumble.
Yep.
The colors that they offer it in are very kind of muted. It's like that kind of a cement color. It's like a beigey color. It's a muted green color. These are very sort of sophisticated colors now that I think they're trying to broaden their base away from, we're just granola and, you know, and camping.
Yeah.
Because there is such, like, there's such good cars now. And I think there's a whole, like, there's a much wider group of people that would enjoy and benefit and, like, really would fit their everyday lives, who maybe have not thought of them up to this point because of the public perception of them as being like, well, but that's the outdoorsman or outdoorswoman's car.
I need hairy armpits to drive that.
And like, if that's not me, then I need to look elsewhere. But really, they are like much more universally applicable. And like, I highly recommend
the Crosstrek, like the latest iteration of the Crosstrek. They have upped the ante so much on that car, even to the extent of adding some great sound damping materials that really have refined the cabin quite a bit. It's an affordable vehicle, but now it has just this kind of I won't say sophistication, that may be taking it too far, but I am very impressed with the improvements that they've made on it. And I loved, you guys just had Dominic Infante on the show. Too. I loved that soundbite of him that said, you know, like, we want to be controversial. We like, if everyone likes us, then whoops, we're doing something wrong. And I'd never thought of it that way. And I really appreciated that statement so much that I was like, oh, I hope people think that way about me too. It's like,
I know,
I want everyone to let me right out of the gate. I want to go intriguing.
You want a little
I want to be a little like, I don't know, is she crazy or is she not crazy? Is that just cool or is she weird? I can't tell.
You're like, bringing the turmoil since, you know.
That's right.
Always.
That was great.
You gotta have a little element. So I just had a Crosstrek. So the week that we had Dom on the show, like totally by chance, I got a Crosstrek that week also. And same thing. I came away, I'm like, this is a great car. And like, what an amazing car. I mean, my impression of it, it's so useful. I think it would be fantastic for like a college student or somebody that's going to be moving regularly. Because it's
perfect first car.
Perfect first car, great gas mileage. You can like, we went and picked up, you know, a bunch of like wheels and car parts, and it handled that with aplomb.
Were they Volkswagen?
There's a strong chance they were Volkswagen. But so we made that into a day trip to San Diego. There was no driver fatigue. Like, did great on the highway. Visibility's great. And mine was this like lime tennis ball green color, because our friend Andrew Florin, who's Porsche Us on Instagram, he does an All You Bob Cars and Coffee. And I was
Yeah,
like,
he's
that's a
great.
super colorful event. So what's the most colorful? And it was this like bright lime, kind of muted tennis ball. Every time I went to get in it, it made me smile. And I'm like, that's what you want in a
That's
car.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'll say one more thing about the Outback Wilderness. I just did a little bit of a road trip to go to a friend's memorial a couple of weekends ago. I crammed 5 people in that car. So there were 2 of us up front and 3 in the back. And we drove for probably all told 3 hours. Those people in the back seat, totally comfortable.
I mean, and that's saying
And there were
something.
3
rare
across.
thing. 3
There were
across in the back.
3
Yeah.
across. And I
Yeah.
just thought, oh gosh, this is going to be terrible. I'm like, you guys, like, they said, oh no, the seats are very comfortable.
Oh.
They're heated for the 2 outboard seats.
Right.
They were very comfortable. And I thought, okay, that's the ultimate test is can you smush 3 back there? Cause I ain't going.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, no.
yeah, well now, but
yeah.
I have to drive it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're like,
I've got to know
I'm
because
so sorry.
I got to know because this has been the automotive story, the last couple weeks. But what is the Lyn Woodward SLATE take?
I'm so curious about this car. I'm just going to turn my light on for 1 second because it's getting a little dark in here. Hang on. And I can't.
This is that car show after dark.
Oh, there. Now I don't look like a ghost. Okay, so I'm really curious about this vehicle. Listen, anytime somebody starts a new car company, I'm all for it because the more players are in the game, the more exciting. Certainly something that is inexpensive at that price point. I think, yeah, that's fantastic. A couple of things that I think, that maybe I'm questioning and I'm not 100% sure how they're going to play out. Like I look at that little wall behind you, Lindsay, and I think, okay, great. That's a lot of options. You can do that. For anybody to make it a really, truly personalized car, how much is it actually going to cost them? So we have a very entry-level vehicle, but you start adding things on there. It's kind of like the Porsche configurator, right?
Yeah.
That thing it's almost like a fun game. How expensive can I make this Porsche? And I do think that those extras, things that we might not even consider as an extra, are going to start really driving up the price. So that fabulous price point that you have, which is entry level, you're going to blow that up pretty quickly. Don't forget that the Maverick, I think, starts at like 29. It's not that much more expensive. And you don't need to be all bare bones on the Maverick. So it's not an EV, it's a hybrid. And that's not the base model. I get it. It's maybe, apples to oranges. But my other big question is this: who's going to buy that? Because here's the deal. I think somebody who is looking for a low-priced car is probably somebody who lives in an apartment building. Like me, I don't have access to charging. When I go out into the world, my little, surrounding neighborhood, and I live in what I would consider a high density of early adopters, high density of EVs, the infrastructure around here sucks. You're still waiting 5 deep in a line at the grocery store to charge.
Really?
So the people who probably are going to buy this car, whether for novelty or their kid, because it's a great first car, inexpensive, these are people who are probably going to be a little bit more affluent, who are probably going to be able to I can make it purple with a pink this and a that and that. And they have
that's Tori's build, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. I love a man.
He's going for the Trapper Keeper look, if I recall.
Oh yeah.
It's fantastic.
Trapper Keeper.
But those are the people who have that infrastructure already at home. And then you're already kind of discounting and you're almost eliminating that low price point, necessity. Until we get the infrastructure sorted out, I am very skeptical that we are going to have a high adoption rate of electric vehicles. And I know it's going to happen eventually. I embrace it. I love it. I think they're fun to drive, but I don't know how. I don't know how it's going to play out.
I thought it was interesting that they've leaned so heavily into this customization thing, because I thought this was going to be the perfect fleet vehicle, right? You've got a warehouse, you plug them in each night, your plumber or whatever, your Amazon driver, whatever,
Yeah.
and I think you're onto something there. And it's so location specific. For me, it's a non-starter until they come out with all-wheel drive. Right? I can't drive a rear-wheel drive pickup truck.
no.
That's 4,000 pounds or whatever it is in the winter. I just can't. So
the other thing to me is like this. It kind of feels like a novelty car. And who are the people who can afford novelty cars? Rich people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even the range that you're looking at is it's not an exorbitant amount of range. There was at one point going to be a dual motor version that's gone now. So I want to be excited. I really do. I want to see them all over the place with polka dots and different configs, but I'm just not 100% sure that I'm going to see that I don't know who the audience is.
Yeah. And did I read something that the Fiat Topolino is coming to the States?
Yes. $14,000, $15,000.
So there's your novelty car. Hell, you get two of them for the price of a SLATE, and you don't have to claim you're slumming it, right? Yeah, it's
exactly.
Where did that come from? That was completely from out of nowhere. That announcement.
We saw it at the LA Auto Show. I think I saw it.
That's right.
New York Auto Show, and I do tours at the show, and I just I was like, don't get too excited about this, everybody, because it's not coming to the U.S. And here we are. That's going to outsell the 500. That's going to outsell the 500.
Better believe it.
You heard it here first, everybody.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
Well, Lynn, it's not going to take much. But I mean, it is cool, and it's
so cute,
and it is cheap enough. Adorable. It can be sort of like a goof, right? I mean, it's.
I mean, listen, if I had just extra cash flowing out of my pockets like nobody's business, and I had a charger, that I would buy that thing in a second. That's awesome.
Have you driven one? Did they let you drive one at the show?
No.
Okay, I just didn't.
I'd like
push you.
I'd like Fiat. I'm tell you now. Please send me to Italy, and I will go drive one. Lindsay will come with me. We'll have 2 outlets for the price of one. Let's go.
That's right.
No, it would be really fun to be able to do that. I can't imagine there's a press trip for that though.
I tell you what though, I've got a 13-and-a-half-year-old. So does Lindsay, right? I mean, a few years off from driving and licenses and all this. And if that is a safe vehicle, and I have no idea how that possibly could be, but I guess they're selling it, right?
It's got to be like driving a paperclip.
Or like a golf.
We're mild at the high school,
right? Like a Samurai. I don't know.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know. I'd have to drive one. Yeah.
I don't know about safety, guys. Like, I'm sure it has an airbag.
Right.
Maybe
an airbag.
An airbag.
Just
the required amount of airbags.
I don't know.
It's like a Ziploc that just pops out of your
that's right.
Out of your steering wheel at you.
Right.
It's just
that
a
one
puff
really.
Of air, really. There's no bag.
The air.
That's a puff. It's a delicate Italian puff.
But no, I love it. Again, I love it. This is anyone who doesn't believe this is a great time to be alive and be watching the automotive industry. They're not paying close enough attention.
Yeah. Well, and those are
because you get cars like that. You get cars like the Rivian, like the R2, which I haven't seen it, but you think, oh my gosh, this thing is like magic and it's going to be amazing. And then you still have hypercars, and you have electric vehicles, and then it's just like, come on, it is it's awesome. I love it. I love that I get to witness this.
We did lose one recently, Lindsay and Lynn, and Lindsay, you had just driven a new Model 4.
I had just turned it in when that happened, when the news came out about Polestar being no longer.
Yeah. I'm a fan. And it always appealed to me because it was kind of took the spot of like what Saab used to be, right? I know they're Chinese-ish, but they're still Scandinavian. They checked off a lot of the same quirky boxes for me, that Saab used to, and now they're gone. And
I think I don't. First of all, I don't know that the U.S. was really a super strong market for them to begin with. I liked those cars because they really catered to an enthusiast audience.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, and they catered to an enthusiast audience with the way that those cars drove, but not a lot of enthusiasts were buying EVs.
Right.
Yeah.
And so at least not at the beginning. And so I think they really had kind of a difficult proposition. I kind of almost wish they had not separated from Volvo, because it doesn't make any sense, right?
No,
It's like,
that was
they were the EV arm of Volvo, right? Okay, perfect. And then Volvo decided to kind of go all in on EVs too. And I'm like, well, where's the other guy?
Yes.
Right.
And
Like,
Lyn, you could still buy a Polestar Volvo as of 2026, right? The performance wagon, right? That you don't see anywhere, but
I'd love one of those. And
now we're
blue.
talking. That's the one with like the yellow, seatbelts. Seatbelts is what they call those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, but Lindsay, you just had what was it? The Polestar 4?
I had the 4. Yeah. Which
the one without the window.
Without the back window. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I haven't driven that. Was that a weird sensation?
initially, but you learn to work around it.
Okay.
And I didn't have it for a full week, just the way my schedule worked out. So I would say I was like 90% used to it by the end. I think if I'd had the full week, it would have been a non-starter, like wouldn't have bothered me at that point. But you just you do work around it, you figure it out. And the rest of the car was so good that I was like, oh, there's no question that I'm willing to figure out how to work without the back window, because it was one of those cars you get in, at least for me. And it was like an instant, like you were talking about, like the exhale or the relief where you're just like, yeah, I'm home. And, like so much space in the back seat, like my daughter's in the back seat and she's like, this is amazing. It's, cavernous back here. And just like,
it's literally cavernous because
because there's no window. Yeah.
There's no window.
Yeah. Literally and figuratively. Yeah.
Turn the lights on in here, Mom.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, and it just had it was just so many little touches. And, we got back to our building and it's interesting. Like I had the Lucid Air before that. And like you, Lyn, I don't have charging capabilities in the building that I live in. So I was like, this is going to be an interesting exercise in figuring this out. And but then we got back to the parking garage and I'm like, the lights that it had on when I picked it up were pink. So of course I was into that. But it drove so nicely. It is. It really is. I was like, yes, I'll say yes. But yeah, just like
they're masterful. They're masterful at driving dynamics, right? I mean, those things are fun. They're so well sorted. They're really fun to drive. There's like a dynamism to them that's great. The chassis is tuned perfectly. That's why I was always such a conundrum in my head, because I thought, God, this is an enthusiast car. Like it's still Polestar, right? It's still a racing company at heart, but yet I'm kind of like, I don't see how this could be like a mass market proposition in the way that I think they needed to be successful. I will say this. I don't like when a company is forced to do something that maybe is not something that they had planned or that they wanted to do. I have no doubt that we will still see them in Europe, that they are, successful there. And so that pleases me very much. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. I think they're like any administration you have is going to be sort of changing rules. And I think I was having this conversation with an automaker and I said, gosh, especially now, anyone who's hanging their hat on something that one administration says, you can't do that anymore, because the pendulum is swinging so far that you really do have to, I think, be cautious and kind of walk down the middle of the road, because a lot of those mandates that we were all like, oh, this is going to be it. This is it. And I just think all it's going to do is changing one administration until it goes all the way over here. And then the next administration, the next time it's a different, a different brand of politician in the owner's box, then you're going to go all the way back over here. So I think, again, it's a terrible thing to do to car companies when you're talking about such expensive decisions. But I also think that you caught a lot of we caught a lot of OEMs kind of with their pants down because they thought, well, Volvo, I thought we were all going all in. What the hell? Suddenly we're not doing that anymore. What's going on? And I think it's very unfair because you're talking about people's lives and people's livelihoods, and this is a tremendous amount of money, and not that I feel like a lot of this is political gamesmanship, but some of it feels like it, and it doesn't feel like it's the right venue to be playing, because you're playing with people's money.
Which is So
it's I mean, it's a really tough thing, and I am sorry to see a car company that I thought was making good products, even though I didn't necessarily see it being a broad proposition for the U.S. I'm still always sorry to see people leave.
Well, and I think
one less player in the game.
And I read an article. They were quoting a source from one of the dealerships, like right after the announcement or the news. And they said there's almost 3,000 cars inbound for the U.S. like right now still. But like you said, Lynn, like the adoption had not been, like, I think it was gaining, but not rapidly. And so there's an element of like, I don't know, in the long run, does this possibly help Polestar like regroup? If they were struggling in the U.S. anyway, they can bow out like under the guise of this other thing without having to say like, we decided to pull out because sales are not great. And then do they get to come back stronger in the future? Because they are making a great product. Like it was really good.
Yeah.
But
who knows? I mean, that remains to be seen. All I know is this. I would not want to be an automotive executive who is in charge of making those decisions, because I do think you're almost damned if you do and damned if you don't, right? I almost feel like the companies who have taken maybe what some people would call as like sort of a let's like hang back and wait and see approach, maybe not at the tip of the spear. I look at Toyota and I think, boy, no one looks smarter than Toyota right now, right? Throwing
with hybrids,
hybrid technology, and really like leaning so heavily into that now they're like, well, hey, we're not the EV, we're not the V8, we're the hybrid guy. And they're kind of looking like geniuses. I mean, they can't make RAV4s fast enough.
It's true.
So
well, Lynn, we're at an hour and a half, and I told you, if we can get a good hour in,
it's fine.
I think we went over 2 hours.
Too much.
No, this is wonderful. I just, I don't want to keep you all night.
This is great, but anytime I can come and hang out with you guys, it's always so much fun. And I mean, listen, there's plenty to talk about, right? We live in an awesome time when it comes to cars. We're fortunate enough to be in a fantastic industry. So and there are people who actually want to listen to what we're saying, which is great.
It's amazing.
Who knew?
Pinch myself every day. I do have one last question for you, and Lindsay, if you have any as well. But what's the state of like the enthusiast scene in LA right now? It seems kind of quiet. What's going on? Like, what events are you going to? What's the buzz?
There are the sort of the standard ones, the local cars and coffees. I kind of wish I lived in the South Bay a little bit, to be honest with you, because I think that the culture there is so much better. Honestly, I think it's simply by, matter of parking availability that there are more cars and coffees down there. I have a friend who lives in Torrance, and he's just every weekend he seems to be going to a fun cars and coffee for a couple of hours and taking various and sundry vehicles that he has. And to me, it would be a long drive to get down there. And so it's a little bit harder for me to kind of participate, but Orange County is just a ripe environment for that. And so Lindsay, you're so fortunate that you have an opportunity to be there. I don't worry about car culture. I don't worry at all about, the kids. I think they, from what I hear, and this is what I love, sedans are definitely making a comeback. So the interest in sedans has been refreshed. I've been saying this for a long time. I used to work in advertising in a different life. I worked with Nike, and I worked with Nike in the late 90s, early 2000s, maybe late 90s. And they were panicked. They were in a total panic because they had gone from the #1 shoe company to the #2 shoe company behind Adidas. And they didn't understand why would I? I'm sorry, but your kid doesn't want to wear the sneakers that you are wearing.
Right.
And I feel like it's the same kind of thing. Kids don't want to drive what their uncool mom drove. And so for us, it was wagons. I mean, I'm not like that. I love a wagon. But the uninformed people who thought, oh, wagons, minivans, yikes, ew, no, thank you. I think that that's where this proliferation of SUVs came from. So, you know, Gen X, Gen Y,
Whatever we are.
is that
I
a
can't
Gen?
keep up.
Millennials? Do we call them millennials? I think we should call them millennials. And Gen Z,
Those little
like
shits.
right?
That's the official
they're not
name.
so little. They're not so little anymore. Oh my
No,
god!
that's the problem. Yeah.
But I think there was that, again, it's pendulum swinging, right? It's like, okay, so SUVs became this thing. Everybody's like, all in, all in, all in. Ford, we're killing all of our cars. We're doing all of this stuff, like these big drastic things. And now we're seeing that there's this group of people who they do care about efficiency. They do care about economy. They don't necessarily want to be driving what it is that their parents are driving. And frankly, an SUV right now is a little bit of a poor excuse for just like a slightly raised car. I mean, can we talk about the ground clearance? That's ridiculous. It's like, it's the same. It's
the ones that can
like,
actually claim like ground clearance, it's a small group.
The only thing that gives them the illusion of that higher seating position is where the seat is bolted in, which is higher up, and you've got no greenhouse, so you're looking out a window that's like this, and you're elevated because the roof is a little higher and it's puffed up like a puffer fish. You're not any higher up off the ground. Your seat is just higher up. So let's just call the truth the truth. However, I am very encouraged because I think sedans are on the comeback. And the other thing that I think is going to make a comeback, yes, wagons.
I mean, we all love them. Right?
We love wagons, but
like
we love
them. Yeah.
We love wagons for a good reason. It's not just like, oh, it's cool and it's brown and it has a manual transmission. No, they're excellent to drive. They are definitely more efficient, and they are still as practical as an SUV, but you're not, you're not like having to sit up here in order to do it. So I think for those people who have that kind of mentality of like, well, again, we're checking off boxes, right? It's like, what is the mission here? I think for those people who, use their car as a utility item, will see the logic in that.
Yeah.
So
Yep. There's so much we didn't get to. I wanted to ask you about Ferrari's new quote unquote manual.
Can we just talk for 1 second about all of these things?
I want to know the Lyn take on this.
Okay. Oh my Lord Jesus in heaven.
Eagles take the wheel.
Eagles take me now. I can't deal with this. No. Okay. So, I mean, I think it's really funny. Do you guys follow Angela's Death Highway?
We love Angela's Death. And speaking
of, we had him on before Spike did. Yeah.
Do we know who it is?
No.
Was it anonymous?
Yep. With a voice disguiser.
Yeah. All of it. Anonymous Gmail account, all that.
Oh, yeah. The whole thing. But so we do have to drop in a little callback and Easter egg for those dedicated fans. He might be the most ardent Chrysler Pacifica enthusiast there ever was.
Get out of here.
May or may not be a clue, but yeah.
Well, then he's probably not a journalist. I don't know. Like, all of us are like, was he at the event? I don't know, because I was at that Mercedes event with the things going off on the bridge, and he got it all down very, very perfectly, down to Brad Pitt, literally getting out of a car going, hey, and walking out and getting probably paid a lot of money for it.
Lots and lots.
Here's the deal. And I feel like this about like the Honda Prelude kind of did a little bit of this with their S Plus mode. And I'm not, I did, all of the Mercedes and Ferrari engineers are probably like rolling around going, no. But this whole idea that theater or, a lot of spectacle is going to actually change your driving experience, I'm a little on the fence about.
No.
To me, it's tantamount to the Star Wars ride at Disneyland, right? Where you're sitting in a seat and there's a screen and they're like rattling you around like this to make you feel like you're going light speed, but you're not really going light speed. It's just it's like a sensation. And to me, it almost feels like a little bit of a novelty. I am very curious to see of the people who buy those cars.
Yeah.
Whether it's the Prelude, whether it's the Luce, whether it's the GT 4-door coupe, how many times, how often are you putting it in that theatrics mode and driving like that?
Lynn, it's like launch control, right? You impress your friends a couple of times, then you forget about it. And I think that's what's going to happen to this damn gated shifter in this.
I think it wears. I think it wears thin. I think that wears out when you're like, oh, I'm not going to press the button because it's fine. Like I'm just going to get in and drive it. To me, it's almost like ambient lighting, right? What person goes in there and is like, I'm in a purple mood right now. I mean, maybe there's a couple of people, but I don't want to spend the extra money on ambient lighting. If that's going to cost me some cash, just set it to blue or don't do it at all. And I'm cool with it. Again, I might be the old lady in the room where the kids are like, no, I'm in a club mode and I'm going in the, rocket red. Like, fine. I just
pushing the button over and over while I'm driving, so it's rotating through for like true club mode.
Right? Where's that mode? Where's the disco ball mode? Where it's like, So I'm just not convinced that the juice is going to be worth the squeeze.
Yep.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, brr, brr, like it's making a weird noise. That's bad.
And it's a moot point because they're making 14 of them or something.
But it also, and this is my issue. This was my issue with Honda because listen, the Prelude is another great example, right?
Yeah.
The Prelude was known for coming out with really innovative new technology, right? Like this is what they like hung their hat on.
Four-wheel steering.
Four-wheel steering, the VTEC, engine, like all of these things that they had that they implemented in these cars. And they're telling me that the new thing that they're trying out is this like noise and simulated shifts. And I think, okay, that's supposed to be the secret sauce. Oh, it's going to change the way you drive. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm still driving exactly the same. In fact, it's making me slower to put that stuff on because you're actually just interrupting my throttle. So I'm not a fan of that. To me, the secret sauce in the Prelude is the fact that you've got Type R bits underneath there. That makes it a great driver. It makes it really fun, But you've got a 200 and something horsepower engine that's like whatever.
But put the manual from the Integra in the Prelude, right? Done.
I mean, I asked them, I'm like, when's the Prelude SI coming out with the manual? And they're just like, maybe, but we can't talk about future products. I don't know how they would do it because they have to change the powertrain on that.
Right. It's a delightful car in so many ways. Got a lot of looks.
Delightful. It's a little it's too rich for people.
It is. That is. It should be $10,000 cheaper.
I have a theory though on who that car is for.
Yeah.
That car is for somebody who's in my generation, who is a car enthusiast for sure. They love the idea of driving a manual. They just don't want to actually drive a manual. They love the idea of a sports car, but they still need it to be a little practical because they got a thing and they got to do a stuff and they got to, I can't. But they also do every once in a while, they like to do a little spirited drive like, oh, I'm going to get on this on-ramp. I'm going to hit this apex right here on this on-ramp and I'm going to zip on out of it. And they do appreciate the underpinnings and some of those suspension bits on the Type R. And are there 6,000 of those people? Because that was the number that Honda wanted to hit, right? 6,000 was how many they wanted to sell. I asked one of them not that long ago, did you hit the number? And he said, yep.
Okay.
So maybe there are 6,000 of those people who are like, I don't want to commute with the manual. Why do I want to do that? Why would I do that to myself?
Yeah.
Right.
So, is it sustainable? I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that they're going to be able to hit that number every single year or that they even want to. But I got to also tell you, gosh, I love that they tried it.
Yeah.
I love that they did it.
Yeah.
maybe, maybe there are those like people who are moaning and, well, this is just basically the coupe, they should have just continued the coupe instead of, doing this. And it's $10,000 more than the sport. And what are you doing? Yeah, sure. Those are all really valid arguments for sure. But boy, that interior is gorgeous.
Yeah,
That's top-notch interior. That's a top-notch
really,
interior. For someone, again, for the demographic in which I'm discussing, that's like, I want it to be nice.
Yeah,
I want it to be lovely. So
we
I don't
all
know.
turn into our parents eventually, and our priorities change.
It's sad.
But it's a great little car in so many ways. It's just,
I think
all right,
so. Fun to drive.
We're 4 weeks from Car Week.
Yes.
Is it 4 weeks?
Crazy.
Is it that? Oh my gosh.
We should do a show if you're up for it afterwards, sort of just,
love it.
Unpacking the whole thing. Because each year it's just a little more than the year before, as you know. But what are you looking forward to? Like, what do you do during Car Week? Like, what are the things you hit and avoid?
I am a guest of JLR this year, so I do attend a lot of the events that they put on. From what I hear, they're doing quite a bit with Defender, which I think sounds really terrific. They have a great reveal always for some special Range Rover that they do, which is always usually really, really it's like a special edition. It's always super cool, super luxe, and like really beautiful interiors and great colors. I'm actually looking forward to the Quail this year. I have not been the last couple of years. I kind of got burned out a little bit on it because I like the cars. I don't necessarily like the crowds. So I've sort of kind of avoided that event because it does get very packed. But I am really looking forward to it this year because it's been a minute. Sometimes when you haven't been in a while, you're looking forward to it. I always love going to the Concours de Lemons, which is fantastic fun. I mean, it's like top-notch, great car show. It's just hilarious. It's entertaining. To me, that is the spirit of enthusiasm at its finest or worst, whichever way you want to put it.
Sure, yeah.
And so I always get really excited about that. But my favorite event by far is Concours Sunday.
Yeah.
It's special.
Last year I had another event that I went to during the week, and so I wasn't able to come until I think I showed up on Saturday afternoon, and it was kind of perfect because all I did was like a dinner on Saturday night, and then the next day I just did the Concours. I like going early, not Dawn Patrol. No. The only way I'll do Dawn Patrol ever is if I'm staying at the lodge at Pebble Beach. I can roll out in my pajamas.
Yeah.
I can get the donut and the hat, and then I can go back to bed for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Right.
But that'll never happen, and that's fine.
Well, and it's the 75th anniversary of.
Is it 75
this year?
I hear they're also doing a Miura. There's a Lamborghini Miura display that's happening, which is fabulous. I think it's the 75th year of that car, maybe 70 years.
That's exciting.
50 years, 60 years. I can't remember.
Okay.
It's
So I think
anniversary.
the Miura is going to be featured. I'm pretty sure that Land Rover is doing something
Cool.
as well,
Cool.
which I will say this, the last couple of years they've had off-road vehicles on the lawn. They were the first ones to really do a significant showcase of off-road vehicles, whether it was the Queen's, some of the
awesome.
Queen's vehicles or some of their great expedition vehicles last year. Huge hit, which to me also indicates, we're doing fine because the young people love those cars. They're not necessarily into the, pre-war Duesenbergs and the, Delahaye's. They don't necessarily know what that is, but boy, a lot of the young people really love those kinds of vehicles. There is so much to look forward to at Pebble this year. So I cannot wait to go. Are you guys going?
Yes.
We
So
are.
excited.
Awesome.
Cannot wait to be there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Very
I
fortunate
will
to
look
be going.
forward to seeing you guys there. Do you go to the auctions? Because sometimes I think the auctions are some of the most fun moments.
Absolutely. And this is what I tell people. Like, I want to go to Car Week, but I can't swing a ticket to, the Quail or whatever. I say, go to the auctions.
Yeah.
They're
There's so
they're
much
basically
excitement
free,
there.
right? Go to the previews or whatever, at least.
Yeah.
Right? and see what's out there, because you're going to see, you know, the stuff that's going to show up on the lawn next year, right? Effectively.
100%.
So.
Also, it's really fun to watch all of those loaded people get just super frothy about like, because that's really like, that's the moment where you're just like, you're really like, you're shooting way, you're way out over your skis. You're just like, yeah, I want it. Sure, I'll pay $1 million for it. And then afterwards, you probably have buyer's remorse. But the environment, the in the moment is epic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing like Car Week, and it's just, you know, each year it somehow manages to be more. And, you know,
I know, talk about a trip. We say this every year. I mean, talk about a trip that is re-entry is nearly impossible every time, because you're just like, no, I just came back from.
I'm older now, and to me, the re-entry is a relief because it's so exhausting. It can be so exhausting. But I mean, that really was the event that first got me into this business.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I told you guys this last time. I went, 2015 was my first year going, and I was working on the Infinity activation that was at the top of Peter Hay Hill.
Right.
Yeah. I had no idea the world I was about to step into, and I just was overwhelmed. And ever since then, it's had a very, very special place in my heart. So I love being able to go back and kind of relive that almost childlike excitement and exuberance, because it's just cars, and you're just like, what's that? What's that? Well, your head's on a swivel.
Like where the drive there and back is just as crazy as whatever you're going to see at the event. I mean, like there's that's the only place in the world where that's true.
Decided today that I'm taking the Porsche up there, so
nice. Well, we look forward to seeing both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we better call this a night, because we're damn near 2 hours, and you have been lovely.
That's fine. Well,
it's been a great conversation.
It's always, I mean, any excuse to hang out with you, right?
Yeah.
But it's always fun. And Lindsay, we have to get together and have dinner again sometime.
I know, in person.
Great time. And Ryan, I can't wait to see you up in Monterey. It's gonna be terrific.
I look forward to it. Maybe we can do a postmortem, or whatever you want to call it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Awesome.
Excellent.
Pencil it in.
Lyn
Guys,
Woodward,
thank you so much for having me on. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you. We will have you back soon. Until next time.
Thank you so much for joining us, to our audience. And thank you to Lyn, always. It's so much fun to have you. And we appreciate everybody being here, listening, sharing the show with their enthusiast friends, and of course, leaving 5-star reviews. Remember, always be driving. We're That Car Show, and we'll see you next week.
And if you don't follow me already on Instagram, follow me on Instagram.
That's right.
Because I do
she's a good follow.
1 N, 2 underscores, Woodward.
2 underscores.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much, Lyn. We'll let you get on with your life, but really appreciate it. This was a great conversation.
You bet. Always.
All right. Talk soon.